They were my best friends growing up.
From Black Can.
I didn't want to leave the hotel. I was scared too.
Meanwhile, you bag, it smelled like straight horse booty, bro. That's crazy. That was... Welcome to Tabletop Topics. I'm your host, Jeff.
And of course, Jeff. Guys, if you want to check our episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And if you want to catch our ugly mugs on Wednesdays and Fridays, we are on YouTube, one word, Tabletop Topics. We also have our TikTok channel and our Triple T Clips channel. So if you want to take a look at our clips, it'll take you to the full podcast, and you can take a look at what you want to see. We also have timestamps on there now, so it'd be easier for you guys to navigate through whatever you're looking for. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments, and if you want us to talk about anything in particular, we might bring it up on the show. But Jeff,
Yes, sir.
who do we have back today?
Oh, man. It's the boy. The boy.
The boy.
The king of conspiracy. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend. Mr. David.
David himself.
Welcome back.
How we
brother.
doing, sir?
Oh, man.
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Chilling. You cool. I feel it, man. I feel it. It's
Did we hype you up too much?
No, man. No, I feel it. It's this is the year of autopilot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit's changing. You know, you're grinding. Get what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do, and you know, when shit happens, when shit hits the fan,
We'll all be there.
you'll all be there.
Yeah.
We'll be ready. We'll be
Yeah.
prepped. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, we're all paying attention, man.
up.
We're all paying
Yes,
attention.
sir. Yes, sir.
When the opportunity arises,
You'll
we
know.
know what to do.
Mhm.
You'll know. We already seen signs. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Already seen signs. We got the train derailment in Ohio.
Mhm.
That's sus as fuck.
Wild. While Joe Biden's up.
Mysterious chemicals.
Mysterious chemicals. These crazy freaking environmental disasters
The
just
jet,
popping
the
off.
jet fighter pilots trying to take down the UAP.
They had like 12 jet.
Bro, they
Wait,
look-
you want to know what's crazy? What happened to all those crazy climate people? I haven't heard a goddamn thing from any of them. What happened?
Oh, man.
man.
I feel like maybe the climate don't matter once the invasion.
I guess the climate
so
doesn't matter to
It
them.
doesn't
it's like a vegan saying don't eat meat.
don't even- I'll never forget that video. What was it? What was his name? Morgan Pierce. Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
Where the vegan came to like shame him
Oh
for
my
eating meat,
God.
and then he's like,
How do you think they get your avocados
"Your avocados and your tofu
and your tofu to
I'm
your
like-
to your vegan restaurant? What do you
don't
think they
even
do?"
know.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Same thing with tofu. I mean, how many
Tofu is
how many
crazy
how many
bad- Yeah, people don't.
how many animals do they slaughter to keep your soybeans?
from being eaten, bro.
Save the
how many
planet.
bees are
What do you think
slaughtered?
happens when animals start eating the crops?
That's facts. Boom.
Yep.
Kill them, or they get poisoned.
And then they poison them with all that stuff.
Yeah, now they just poison it.
Yep.
That's
And then you
crazy.
eat
That's
it.
crazy.
That's crazy.
But you're saving the planet by not eating meat.
That's why, like Graydon said, it's all just a spectacle, a stage of actors all competing for the best in show.
Yep, I
That's
believe that.
it. That's
believe that.
it, man. You know what I'm saying? But how do you feel about that, man? When that first happened, because in the beginning it was the Chinese balloon, and we kind of watched that kind of unfold over the whole week as it was like passing over the states.
Yeah.
The northern U.S. and everyone's just like, you know, what's Biden doing? Why is he waiting? You know, like, are we ever going to shoot it down? Do we know what it is? And I think finally it made it over South Carolina into the Atlantic, I believe, and then they finally decided to
Shoot
it down. And in my mind, you know, we kind of spoke on this. I was like, okay, that's probably the end of that. Ain't that pretty naive, right? You know, this reality. Okay. They're like, yeah, there's no way they'll go to war over a balloon. China isn't that crazy. And then a week later, and it started, Sunday? Bam. Another UAP spotting. You know what I'm saying? But this one didn't look like the balloon. You know, this was about the size of a small car. And of course it goes back to the whole, we couldn't find any means of propulsion. You know, XYZ, all of that stuff.
Which is why they're working on some.
Right.
But the question is, the first thing that went through my mind is, what's really going on.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the
what's
distraction
happening?
about?
What's happening?
Yeah.
What you think, man? Like, is this just one big psyop? Is this one big
It's definitely a
misdirection?
psyop.
Absolutely.
And definitely a misdirection. But like the misdirection, honestly, at this point, bro, what's worse?
That's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Think
At
about-
this point, it's
Think
almost
about
comedic.
What could be the worst possible situation? That's what they're hiding you from.
Dang.
Think about as bad as it can get, dialed it by 10.
But it's like, besides world destruction, you see what I'm saying? Because I feel like at this point,
Well, you need people
Have
to.
you guys
to
ever
rule.
heard of Albert Pike? Oh wait, I talked to you guys about
Mhm,
Albert Pike.
mhm.
Okay, so that the not Godfather, the high-ranking Mason, very influential within the Masonic community. In his book Morals and Dogma, he actually talked about World War III, and talked about how they were going to bring about not just World War III, they were going to bring about all three world wars. Yeah, and the overall goal and plan. The plan of it at the end of the day was to completely annihilate atheism and Christianity in one fell swoop
Mhm.
at the end of it. Because basically, savagery would get so bad to the point that at that point people would realize why we need a God.
Word.
Because if nothing matters,
Mhm.
you do whatever the
You
fuck
do whatever you want.
to
Yeah,
end.
exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So there's a lot more detail into it. I need to. Next time I come in, I'll bring some like notes
Oh, for
within
sure.
it.
Mhm.
But
For sure. For
it's
sure.
interesting stuff. You guys will find it interesting.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
And that's the thing, because, like, I think about stuff like that. But it's like, okay, we're reaching a point of moral decay. Or we're past the point of moral decay.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you enlighten people enough?
I don't.
Like, what is the route? You see what I'm saying? Like, because there's so many things. Like,
But I think we already talked about this.
I think it's just a constant cycle.
Yeah, I mean, people
Like-
have to want to.
Now, this is coming from. Now, I'm coming from a Christian perspective on this.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I look at the history of humanity, it seems that we continuously are trying to create a new Babylon. And we get to the point where we're almost right there, and then God
psych.
Nope.
gets rid of it.
Like
Psych.
I said,
think
give you a
that's-
piece.
Yeah,
every single
yeah.
time.
I was like, you kind of see it throughout history where it's just like, you know, we reach a pinnacle, and then he snatches it away from us, and then he'll feed us. Like someone,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
like someone will come along, like, okay, I discovered we're not the center of the universe.
Your phone, Jeff.
You know what I'm saying? But how many times has that been discovered? How far back in history can you go where you see, you know, texts, ancient texts or scripts of people claiming that, you know, we're part of a bigger system and we don't revolve around the sun, and like they axe them off. You know what I'm saying? And then we rediscover that. Why do you think every ancient civilization worshipped the sun? You see what I'm saying?
I think the reason why they did was because, what's his name? Nimrod, who was the original sun god,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife Tammuz, who was the moon goddess. Not Tammuz, no, Ishtar. It was Nimrod and Nimrod was the husband, Ishtar was the wife, and then they had a son named Tammuz. So, this is also where a lot of people believe the belief in reincarnation comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what happened was Nimrod had a baby with Ishtar, but he dies. So he was the king of Babylon.
Okay.
Now, Ishtar was about to lose her throne because at that time only a man could
Rule.
lead the throne, and
Right.
the boy was too young.
Too young. Yeah, gotcha.
So she, with her devious little mind, concocted up a little scheme and said that her son is the reincarnation of
Nimrod.
a sun god. So
Wow.
he became deified in that moment. And she became deified through the stretches of years until Tammuz was... So
Old
he
enough.
was still a baby, so she still had authority because he was the sun god.
The sun god.
So she was creating rules and beliefs that into her society that she was a
to
moon
reflect
goddess.
that. Okay.
So that she was also deified.
Mhm.
So that she could keep control over the throne. So I think the reason why all religions worship it is because if you remember with the story of the Tower of Babel, that's when all of humanity was unified.
Yes.
We were all living as one.
One language.
And then when
everything.
God split us up, we all went our different ways, but we all brought our teachings with us.
Yes.
That's
Which is-
And
facts.
since we speak different languages
Therefore, go
now,
different languages. Yeah.
we operate different. We operate a little bit differently. So over the course of time, those stories just kind of
Or
Dwindled.
do or kind of branch off a little bit into their own versions.
so would you say humanity in terms of just like biblically, we go through like I would say cycles like of different forms of humanity. Prime example, right? We are not considered children of Adam and Eve. We are descendants of Noah, right?
Yes.
Well, technically, you can bring it all the way back to Adam and Eve still, because Noah came originally from Adam and Eve.
From Adam and Eve. But like in terms of eras, like in terms of what humanity was capable of accomplishing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of like lifespan, in terms of like
because that's when God changed.
Start all
Right.
over.
That's
Yeah.
when God
You-
changed the
age.
age. So yes, yeah.
You
'Cause
see what
that's
I'm
when
saying?
people the max was around 120 years.
120. You see what I'm saying? Like, but Noah was like the last.
Slowly
of
getting back to that
Noah
again.
was
by
the
way.
last one that was actually lived for a while.
Lived for a while, like 700, 600, 700 plus. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I can see in that aspect where it's like we've gotten to a point where humanity is lost and we gotta start over again. You see what I'm saying? Like, prime example, I'd say Jesus was like one point in time where, humanity was lost. Send Jesus. Or the whatchamacallit, the city that he burned to the ground, pillars of fire.
Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
You see what I'm saying? Another example, the flood.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
Reset.
we reach these pinnacles of moral decay, but like we can accomplish things that are almost biblical. We're getting too close to the sun.
So would you say there's a reset coming up again?
Like-
Well, you want to know one thing that's scary that God said about humanity? He said if they're unified, there's nothing they can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if all of us genuinely are
It's a
unified
scary
under
thing.
one goal, there's
It's a
literally nothing
scary
we can't
thing.
do.
And that's the
Combined.
thing, and that's what I always say.
And
No,
it's a
nobody
scary
in
thing.
general, not even our own neighbors, we're not on the same
Right.
page with any or everything.
Right.
So it's like
And that's
it's
where
not even
I
just
feel
the
like,
language.
and here's the thing, and it's like it doesn't tell you how to be unified as well too, because we could be unified in suffering.
Under anything.
Yeah, we be unified
Under
in
anything.
anything.
As long as it's
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, even I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but like even with the whole idea of AI, once you relinquish humans from the idea of labor and work, you know what I'm saying? What do you fill that void with? Essentially, we now become the creator. We have created this thing.
well, dude, this is what's even scarier. Personally, I genuinely think over the course of at least the next 20 years, we're going to see the extermination of majority of the human population.
Of course.
As we know of now.
As
Yeah.
we know
Like
about.
biologically, socially, like absolutely.
Because of
Absolutely.
the Georgia Guidestones, the first one.
Right.
They wanted to bring it down to 500 million.
500 million.
And think about what you hear about with these climate activists.
Mhm.
They paint the picture as if humanity is a cancer and a disease on the planet, and all we do is eat, kill, and destroy.
Because that's what
We're
cancer
chaos.
does.
We're chaos.
That's what
Yeah.
cancer does.
So what do you do to cancer?
You destroy it.
You destroy it.
You exterminate
You
it.
exterminate it. Yeah.
Every last bit of it.
Yeah.
But we're cockroaches, so that's impossible.
But I feel like
Yeah.
we are the best iteration. Like the
shit.
cockroach is the best natural enemy of humanity.
Yep.
It's like you gotta live with it.
Yeah.
You gotta live with your
You gotta get over it.
reflection.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Once you learn how to be cockroaches, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that's how I look at it. But like, what about on a cosmic scale? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
if we leave all of our responsibilities on this little garden we call Earth,
Mm-hmm.
you see what I'm saying? And we unite our resources. There's infinite resources out there.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But again, we're still cancer.
We're still humans. We're still roaches.
We're still cancer.
We're still gonna fight.
I mean, the perfect example you can use is Doctor Who. What did he say in one of his episodes? You humans are like cancer. You guys try to destroy everything that's beautiful. It doesn't matter where you go in the universe. It's you guys spread like cancer, and that's what it is.
Right.
We build in, we move in, we build, we destroy, and then we go on to the next resources.
Right.
Essentially, that's what it is. That's how
But
come he
it's-
says he understands the
I
Man of Steel
understand,
movie.
like,
The-
this is-
Zod as the villain of the film.
This is my problem with that kind of belief, though,
Hmm.
because I think that's only half the story, and that's why I have a big problem with these.
How so?
Because humans do that, but to think that that's all humanity is.
Oh no,
You know what I
absolutely
mean?
not.
Oh, there's more to it. Yeah,
There's
Absolutely.
so much
Sure.
more to humanity.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely
a
not.
lot of us are,
that's part of the symptom, but that's not the problem.
Right. And I just feel that, just cosmologically
We're like-
speaking,
oh, sorry.
you know what I'm saying? It's just like all things are affected by entropy. So like order to disorder. Like that's just the natural flow of anything because of this space-time we live in. Because time exists. You know what I'm saying? We are everything is naturally meant to decay.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no such thing as a perpetual motion machine, because you're defying the universe.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You're defying the laws God set in place for how this universe is supposed to work. Which is why, like, everything we do, all of our sciences, our quest for knowledge, is to fight against time and entropy. It's to fight against the nature of what God has set for us. You cannot be immortal. You want to live long. You want to know everything.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What's the name of that parasite that you said?
Right.
That immortal parasite that you were telling me about?
Oh, the tardigrade?
The tardigrade. Yeah,
That's trip.
Trying to find the
That's
key
true.
to being like a tardigrade.
Like that's like one thing they're researching on how to find immortality.
How to stay young
How do
forever.
tardigrades survive in the most extreme conditions?
People don't know what they're messing
You see what I'm
lava,
saying?
water. I mean, yeah, like you said, essentially
But
they're
that's
trying.
the thing, it's
They're
just-
trying to hit the level of
It's just
being
a
a god.
series of Pandora's boxes that like, but it's like once you open it, how do you go back?
You caned.
You can't.
can't.
I think
Without-
and this is what I think with humanity. What happens with humanity? I think humanity gets to the point where they start playing God,
Word.
Yeah,
and God has to step in because at that point, who can stop them?
like you said,
Other than
pinnacle.
God.
Yeah,
Only a god.
yeah,
And the thing is, something wiped us out.
That's
yeah.
facts.
Something wiped us out a bunch of times.
That's facts.
Like you
A
said,
bunch of times.
like you said,
Smacking us.
yeah,
bro.
like you said, pinnacle. As soon as we reach the pinnacle, what
Right.
happens?
Because look at the Romans, look at the Egyptians,
Look at the Egyptians,
Babylonians, look at the
Babylonians.
Greeks,
Look
look
at
at us.
That's true.
It's starting to
Look where
happen
we
again.
were 50 years ago.
That's
Look at
true.
us now.
Yeah,
we're doing some magic shit.
Pathetic.
Like it's crazy, and it's like we're now to a point where it's like it just is, right? Like this is a touchscreen phone, right? The first time it came out, everyone wanted to know how it works. Now it just is.
Yeah.
It just
part of
is.
life now.
It's part of life. I don't need to know how it works. I just know it's here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I feel like and that's where and that's where we're headed, where it's like if we have all the knowledge and there's no need to learn, we'll end up lost. We will end up lost. Anything that goes wrong, like it's permanent. You know what I'm saying? We'll get sent back to the Stone Age. Like
Yeah.
Chat GPT knows everything. So I don't have to learn. You see what I'm saying? Write this code for me. Error check yourself.
Well, look what happened
You see what I'm
with the college students. They had ChatGPT write their essays and they didn't graduate.
And it's like,
And here's the thing. I said, whoever kicked them out of school, you're the loser. You're the loser.
Because you know why?
They're using something that's going to dominate your life.
Yep.
And you punished it.
And then 5 years later, then they're gonna be allowed to use it.
Right.
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's just a series of, okay, when do we get access to it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, like, what's the point of manually teaching people? Or it's just like, that's not what's going to be around in 5. Like, you're teaching a dying system. Everything we're witnessing, the reason why everything feels like it's failing is because these systems are irrelevant for where we're headed.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? These manual, like, analog systems mean nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Like adding and subtracting negative numbers.
Right. What did he say?
I'm subtracting jack shit
that
from
little
fuck
kid,
all.
That little kid streamer. He's like, they're teaching me about imaginary numbers. What's 0 times I to the 6? It doesn't matter. I'm subtracting jack shit from fuck all. Why don't they just teach me how to keep my money from the feds? I'm just like, that's the smartest kid in the room.
Yeah, he is.
You see what I'm saying? That's the smartest kid in the room.
He is.
You know, yeah, it's nice to know, you know, but like you have to be willing, and not everyone wants to learn about this stuff.
Unless it happens to them right
Unless
there
it
and
happens to
then.
them.
Like I said, nobody cares about a crisis unless it's in their neighborhood.
Well, I mean, dude, the same thing happened with, like, the Germans. Because, like, literally what's happening to us is literally the same thing that happened to the Germans, or the same thing that happened to the Soviets,
Mhm.
like, 20 years after World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a group of people came in, started yelling, saying that all of your problems are these people, because of these people.
That's facts.
And then those people just got whiter and whiter and whiter. And first they start with somebody who's like, people genuinely would think badly of. The Jews were bankers. Okay, so anybody who deals with money, obviously you're going to feel a certain type of way with them.
they tied them
Easy
to that.
target.
Right.
Yeah.
Easy.
Then it moves to the gypsies.
Right.
Then it moves to the disabled people.
Mhm.
Then it moves to anybody who's not Aryan.
Mhm.
Blue
And
eye.
then the color spectrum, colorism and shit like that.
In America,
Absolutely.
we see
Yeah.
the same thing. Who
Mhm.
is the enemy? Or who is the first enemy? White men.
White men.
Easy target. Why? Because of slavery and all that stuff
Yeah.
happened. So if you're going to pick a target, easiest target for our population, then it starts getting wider. To the
Yeah.
point where you can't say anything
That's
anymore.
facts.
Yep.
You can
That's
only
facts.
say a certain narrative.
Yep. And
That's
they're silencing the truth.
But this is what's the craziest thing about it is we're doing it to ourselves.
Right, because we live in this idea of the way to move society forward is retribution. Punish past acts. You know what I'm saying? That these people are no longer here, but we're going to punish the future society for the things that
The
There's no
past.
forgiveness.
the predecessor.
No, it's not.
There's
Exactly.
no forgiveness.
It's
There's
a
no
false
mercy.
idea of mercy and forgiveness.
Yeah. And even when you
There's-
do apologize, what happens?
It means nothing.
It means nothing.
It means
Another
nothing.
thing too is also I think this is one of the biggest deceptions that Americans have fallen into, and it's the belief that you are a good person.
Mm,
If you
I
really
feel that.
think about it and you really analyze yourself
not.
and you really
you're not.
you're not.
You're not. Because
You
everything.
have acts of kind
Of
acts
kindness.
and doing good things, but generally
There's a self-fulfilling motivation.
but when you understand that, you can operate and you can work against it. But if
Absolutely.
you don't even think it exists, and
Oh,
you just think you're good,
Yeah.
I can do no wrong because I know no wrong.
That's not realistic.
That's kind of
That's
that's self-righteous right there,
That-
right?
That's where dangerous things happen, where you start becoming self-righteous and you start thinking, I would never do something like that. So we can punish this person with this degree of punishment because I would never do something that
Because
evil.
I would never.
You never know.
That's crazy.
But when you actually understand that easily you could do something like that,
Mhm.
given the right circumstances, you're going to ease up on the punishment because
Mhm.
you're going to be like, dude, I could easily
I
be
could
in
have
that
been in a
situation.
situation. What's it called?
So if I'm in his shoes, I don't want the hammer to just...
It's a paradox. It's called the something paradox. And the quest for equality, you end up creating inequality.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what
It's
they're
a
doing.
paradox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
And
what
the
they're
quest for equality, and that's the thing. It's like, why can't anyone be outside themselves? And look, historically, it's impossible. There's literal symbolism in every culture that explain this. You know what I'm saying? Yin and yang, blind justice. You see what I'm saying? When you try so hard, even in all good, there's evil.
Yeah.
In your quest for all good and all righteousness, you are persecuting those that you should be, in turn, accepting.
I think one of the biggest reasons why we kind of fell into that too, though, is I think the failure of churches and the fall of churches.
Mhm.
I think that has really just messed up our morals. I think
Where do you think that started from? Like, not a
I
specific
think-
point, but just like generally speaking, like
I think the '60s was a big turning point
For everything.
for everything.
Yeah.
Because
But like you
what-
said,
it was the age of
liberations.
liberation.
Liberations, yeah.
When my dad was in high school, because he's born in 1942, so when he's in
Mhm.
high school, this is like the late 50s.
Mhm.
They used to pray. They would pray and they would read the Bible at a certain point during school.
During school.
Yeah,
And then they got rid of that.
and then I got rid of it.
hmm
They don't even say the Pledge of
Then you
Allegiance.
said Pledge of
now, right?
Allegiance.
They said the Pledge of Allegiance.
When I went to
every-
school,
Yeah.
they got rid of it.
Yeah.
And they got rid of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
But I think honestly, what it really changed is the music, because I think the easiest way to change a culture is to change its music,
Mhm.
because you can easily deceive the younger generation into thinking it's not that bad.
Of course.
So, like, let's take rock and roll for example.
Word.
What did the old people think of it?
Satan music.
Satan.
It's the devil's music.
Yeah,
Yep.
devil's music.
All the young people are like, "You're a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
But as soon as Elvis comes in the picture, oh my God, it's good.
Well, actually, no, they hated Elvis.
They
You know
hated
why they hated Elvis? Because Elvis was doing what do they call it? Boogie dancing, and boogie dancing comes from black people.
Black people, yep.
And that was already
and that was the
another-
shaking of
yeah,
the hips.
Yeah,
And that's what they had a problem with.
yeah. And that was
What's that?
already
Yeah,
vilified, right? Right.
that was the problem.
Jesus
Mhm.
Christ.
That was the
Mhm.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I think slowly over time, because then we get to the point. I think one of the biggest like changes was hip hop. I think hip hop is totally just destroyed at least my generation
Mhm.
completely.
Like the hip hop you grew up, or even prior to that.
The hip hop that pretty much I grew up with, I think 1990s hip hop was still.
That was more like based in
What they were going through.
what they were going through. Now this is just glamorization, sexualization,
Guns, bitches, monies, cars,
and
drugs.
and like false advertising.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think, looking back at it now, I think the old people, when they were talking about rock and roll, honestly, I really don't think they're that crazy anymore. And the reason why I don't think they're that crazy anymore is because it started with that. Look at what it's become now.
hmm
Because one thing I always used to hear from my mom is, when it comes to the devil, he takes an inch. All he wants is just a little bit. You
That's
give him a little
facts.
bit, and he keeps it.
We got you.
And then he just has to wait a little bit longer, and then he'll get another bit.
hmm
10 years down the road,
That's facts.
look how far he is.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't even see it.
Yeah.
So I think that, and what happens too is, like, the young generation, they all love it. Eventually they become the old generation. Then the younger generation, they got to push it a little farther. Because that stuff's not cool what my grandma listened to or my mom listened to. And then it just progressed
Right.
more and more and more and
Into
more.
what it is
Mhm.
today.
And now look what rappers are talking about.
Bullshit.
Bullshit, bro.
Bullshit.
Teaching young men to be thugs,
hmm
to be losers, to not provide for their families,
You'll
to get a girl pregnant and run off
yeah,
like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
yeah. You'll get the 1 out of a million,
Yeah.
but other than that, most of them are. That's what they're preaching.
That's
Teaching
why.
them to be
Not saying unreachable
greedy,
goals.
selfish,
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's just a damaging, like, for
to
me.
be prideful,
hmm
all of it, man.
I won't bullshit you. I listen to hip hop, but like I can understand.
I still do
completely
listen
right.
to hip hop.
I completely understand what you're saying, because it's like, it is. It's just a moral decay of just. But I understand. I completely understand what you're saying, because it's like you can even look at, you know, even like women hip hop artists. You know, back in the day, when I listen to women hip hop art, like Missy Elliott,
Just
you know what I'm saying,
or Sierra.
or Sierra, you know what I'm saying. Even then, it was just like there was only so far she could get in, you know, explicit lyrics and stuff like that. Now,
WAP.
they're literally fucking on the song.
Who is the girl? Who are like the two girls that are looked up
Cardi
to?
B, Nicki Minaj.
No, Cardi B and
Kim Kardashian.
Kim.
Oh,
Stallion.
Kim. Oh, okay.
Kim.
Megan.
I thought you
It's a lot of them, but
It's a lot of them, but one of the biggest ones is Kim Kardashian. How does she live her life?
through a TV show.
Not just a TV show, but how does she operate? What is her character like? How does she treat other people?
Right.
How does she think about
We don't know
herself?
because everything is recorded. So we don't know if that's she's putting
it's
on
a show.
It's a show.
It's a show.
This is how fucking.
It's a
weird-
show
this is
24/7.
This is how weird and depraved, like, at least when it comes to Kim and her family are. Did you know that her mom, when it came to, you remember her sex scene that got her famous in the first place?
That was her mom.
Her mom
Her mom's the one that recorded it.
recorded three different
Mhm.
shoots, and then picked specifically that one.
Right. Well, you remember
Her
she
mom
was.
is a pimp, and she was a prostitute in that moment.
But she
Remember, she was also best friends with Paris Hilton, and Paris Hilton got clout off of her.
Yeah.
sex
Now
tape.
she has her. Now she has her own.
So that was like
podcast.
the blueprint to
Also with Kim too, with Nicki Minaj, because now they really pushed implants. They pushed the stupid
all the BBLs,
Lip fillers.
all the lips,
the lip fillers,
makeup,
the BBLs,
because now girls think that they're ugly without those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Like, dude, it's
crazy.
so insane. Like, honestly, especially females of my generation, they are so damaged mentally by their role models. They don't realize it, but they constantly are being told that they're ugly, they're not worth anything unless they do these certain things.
Yeah.
Unless they go to these certain places, unless they hang out with these certain people, and it's just they're just leading them so far astray.
And
into
like
just,
half of the time, like you just feel like they're on autopilot. Like there's no thought.
They don't want it, but they feel like they have to
Right,
do it to
they
be
have to
accepted.
there's
be
no
accepted.
confidence. They
Exactly.
have no self-confidence in
exactly.
themselves.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Man.
Like there's no like. I understand there's instances where when you want to look really good, but it's like if you spend an hour, 2 hours in the bathroom,
Vanity.
you know what I mean? It's like you really think that low of yourself that you have to spend that amount of time because you don't think people will accept you unless you look like this. You know what I mean? Like that's so fucked.
I be thinking about how men just. I wake up, I am who I am.
Yeah.
I just put a fit on and I'm out.
That's it.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
like another thing too is like it breaks my heart because what my parents taught me is at the end of the day, God created you. So whether you're skinny, whether you're fat, whether you're big, whether you're small, whether you're black, whether you're white, God doesn't give a shit.
Right. He
At
don't
the
make
end of the day,
mistakes.
He created you.
Right.
So your features, your physical features, yeah, you can work on them, but at the end of the day, He created you like that. So be proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say a lot of people are, sorry for interrupting, a lot of people are so diluted by caring about what other people think that they...
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my point, the
But it
point
should
I was
go
trying to
deeper than
make
that,
is
Yeah.
when it comes to the two beliefs, I think it's more healthy to push the one belief I just mentioned instead of the belief that's being pushed onto these girls.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I
Because
completely agree.
the one belief tells you that at the end of the day, you're special
Right.
inherently.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like God created you. God took His time to actually design you.
Right.
It meant something to Him. Whereas in the other thing, you don't mean shit unless you do these certain things. That's completely different.
And you're not
You
happy.
know what I mean?
You're
Right.
not happy.
You know what I'm saying? And
At the end of the day,
and
you're
the
not
way I'll
happy.
look at it is just like it goes back to the whole. It's just a breakdown of systems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a break, or it's like now you have fatherless homes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which
You
is bad,
hear
yeah.
you hear mama's boy,
But you never hear
daddy's girl.
You know what's crazy too is that's another thing too is like the reason why we don't have men anymore.
No.
We have boys who we call adults
Right.
because they never had a man to teach them how to be a man.
Fatherless household.
Yep.
It bleeds. It's
And-
the death of men's role in the society,
Yeah, because what is your
in the world.
What's your that's
What is our purpose at this
if you
point?
can't provide, what's the
Right.
fucking point?
That's literally genetically our code.
It's just in our
It's in our brain. Like
we-
I'm supposed to provide protection,
Provision.
Guidance,
Yeah.
leading,
Leadership.
like
it feeds like your soul.
Right.
But now that's seen as toxic.
that's what
Yeah.
fills my soul. You know what I'm saying? That I'm cultivating, something that will produce.
If I can take care of you
Right.
and the family, that makes me. That fulfills me.
that is fulfilling.
I don't need
We
garbage
lost
that
that
doesn't do
fulfillment.
anything for me. If I can take care of the household or anything like that, that's what is ingrained in me.
And I think it's also it's such a balancing aspect for a man's life because like that one point I said before, like inherently none of us are really good.
No.
Right. I don't know.
But when we can, despite being who we are, when we can still provide for the ones that we love, it's a counteract to that. So it's like, yeah, I might be a piece of shit, but at least I put food on the table for my family.
Yeah.
At least I'm there for my son's game every week. At least I'm there to read them a bedtime story. At least I'm there in their lives. I'm there and I give a shit and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. At the end of the day, that's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. If
And
you don't have that, then you're
lost.
just have the depressed shit.
You're lost.
Yeah, that's true.
You just have the anxiety.
You basically look to everybody else to figure out what it is to be a man or a boy or a guy or whatever it is.
Because the reason why you have this disconnect where it's like men want traditional roles or traditional women or stuff like that is because, like I said, fatherless households, it's like your mom is raising you. So you know what the best qualities to look for in a woman.
Yes.
She teaches you how to respect women.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't want anyone to disrespect your mother.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? But like as a father, you should be showing your daughter what she should expect from
A man.
in a man.
Which is why you always hear the word vet the guy.
You see what I'm saying?
Let your father vet the man that you're with
Right.
or anything like
Like,
that. So you don't choose assholes. and
Right.
all that
So
stuff like
you
that.
could be essentially that role model for how your daughter will go out into the world and find a companion. You see what I'm saying? It's just like just those things, and it goes back to we're in a system that has vilified being a man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
We are the cancer.
Right. But it goes back to the whole self-righteous where it's like, you know, it's all men's fault for a lot but it's like
No accountability.
the infrastructure to this society, sorry, you know, might not want to hear this, but was built by men.
Yeah.
If you take that out of the equation, what do you have?
Society would collapse in a couple of days.
Like, unless you have another idea where people are freely giving away their soul to temptation, you know what I'm saying? And there's no structure, there's no leadership to tell you this is what you need to focus. Because when a man focuses, he focuses.
Yes.
Focuses
Logical.
100%.
Logical.
He's
When
logical.
we got an objective, we got to get it done.
he is
We're problem
calculated.
solvers.
We are problem solvers.
And that's
You see what
so
I'm saying?
two things I wanna bring up.
Okay.
One thing, this is still with the fatherless homes. One thing I also think is really dangerous about it is you hear the term mama's boy.
Yeah.
Now there's a reason we say that. Because mama's boys don't get really punished by their moms. Their moms go easy on them.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine you live your whole life and your mom's going easy on you. Your mom never really punishes you. Your mom never really brings the hammer down on you. What are you gonna act like when you get
Right. Soft men.
Yeah.
You're gonna act up. You're gonna pick fights with anybody because you
Right.
think you're top shit. Because at the end of the
Because
day,
you are a reflection of her emotions. So you witness how she reacts to certain situations, and you feel that it's okay to react that way.
Yeah.
So without
Yeah.
a cap or a control for your emotions, and to think logically,
that's what a father does.
That's what he does.
A father checks the son. A mother checks the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing too is, I see it happen with my dad my whole life. My sister could get my dad to do anything.
Word.
Anything.
Word.
But my mom, my mom was on my sister like a goddamn hawk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my mom was her at one point.
Yeah.
So she knew every trick in the book. She knew everything she was about to do.
Yep.
She wasn't putting up with none of the bullshit. But that's exactly how my dad acted with me.
Word. Right.
And it's like you need
It's
both.
the
structure.
you need both.
You need
It's
That's
stru-
the
yeah.
structure.
That's the
because
structure.
the mom influences the son in terms of, you know,
But
what
the mom's also easy
too.
because you need that. Because
Right.
the dad's gonna come in and the dad's gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
You know what you're supposed to do."
Right.
And then the mom's gonna be like, "Yo, kind of like chill out." And the
Chill
dad's
out.
like, "No."
No, he
But then the
needs to.
mom kind of like saves him a little bit, but he also gets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then vice versa with the daughter. The mom goes ape shit on the daughter, and the dad's like, "Whoa,
Whoa,
let's
chill
kinda, like,
out.
for a
Right.
second."
Right.
And you need both of that.
And you need
Yeah.
both of that.
Because like we always say, accountability. There's a lot of fatherless homes where there's no accountability, and
And that goes for both men and women.
men and women.
You can
yeah.
tell.
And the father is the structure. He's the one that teaches you this is how hard life is. This is what you should do. This is the way to go about it. Instead of the mother trying to do both at the same time because
because you can't do both, man.
can't.
yeah.
You can't.
I mean, as
Some
much as
things are gonna
asking too
fall
much
through
of
the
a
cracks.
yeah,
right.
as much as moms try to be dads, they're not meant to understand what dads
Right.
Teach or
Yeah.
show
You
that
never
child.
live the same life.
Exactly.
You can't understand.
Exactly.
Like I can't understand what it truly is like to be a woman
Never.
because I'm never gonna live that.
I'm
life.
never
Exactly.
gonna live that reality.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me to say that I know what it is ignorant.
Yeah.
It's ignorant.
We don't. We don't. You know what I'm saying?
No, but
It's
I see
just
I
like-
see what you're coming
Yeah, I completely understand. It's just like, it's just a failing of systems. It's just, and of course, you know, I'll keep going back to the internet doesn't help. Internet was the biggest apple, the biggest apple of sin we could ever take a bite out of because
Yeah.
we gave so much of our soul to
You know
it.
what's funny about look at the back of your iPhone too.
Oh, the
yeah.
apple, and it has
Apple.
the bite out
It
of
has
it.
the bite.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we don't
What
have
did I
iPhones.
say? I was like, when the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I like philosophy like Steve Jobs and Kanye." I was like, to say Steve Jobs is a philosopher when he single-handedly created the catalyst that would destroy society.
Cancer.
You see what I'm saying? And then literally gave you the imagery on the back of the product you were using.
Yes.
Here, take a bite.
Take a bite, and what is it?
Take a
What does
bite,
it give
bro.
you?
What does it
Knowledge.
give you? Knowledge.
Whatever
Gives
you
you
want.
everything you want.
Whatever you
Whatever
want.
you want, you know? It's just like,
And we all took a bite.
and we all took a bite. We all took a bite. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with the internet, you give your soul away from it. And it fulfills you little by little with fame, with clout, with views and clicks and
And it feels good
And
to
it
those
feels
that
good.
that think that's what they
but then
need to feel
but
alive.
it takes away from you.
yeah.
'cause once you
Piece-
start
like you said,
losing
piece
it.
by piece.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
You,
Just a
yeah,
little
it takes
bit.
a little bit, and then you lose it. Once you lose that attention, once you lose that recognition, that clout, that self gratification, it starts messing with you, and then you go down the rabbit hole. You become depraved. You start doing crazier things. You start. Everything goes out the window because it's essentially a drug, that dopamine. Where
Yeah,
it's like,
for men it's women, and for
It's women, right.
For men it's women. For women it's validation through the world. So if I mean it goes.
it'll,
hand in-
yeah, you know what I'm
goes
saying?
hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand.
goes
So
hand
it's
in
like
hand.
any dude, you know what I'm saying? Literally all media on the internet is just sex.
Yes, that's it.
All media.
And
on
if
the
you
internet.
care about, if that's the prominent focus in your life, that's all you will put your eyes on. But then when you get to that certain age and you're like, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
I'm 40 years old. I have done nothing but try to get clicks on the internet. And it's like, now there's
Yeah.
a next generation of young kids that they're paying attention to and not me. It's like, what can I do different to stay with them? And you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Fuck
You know
people,
what's-
yeah.
Put on. Have you guys ever heard of Hobson?
Oh yeah.
Put on-
Hobson.
Put on Hobson Illmind 5.
Absolutely.
Put it on, bro.
Oh
This
man.
came out in 2012. And
Absolutely.
I just went back and I forgot about this song. I just like discovered it again on my YouTube feed.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me be careful.
goes-
'cause
yeah,
I
you're
know-
you're double checking.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
thing likes to.
So
be
we had
weird.
a guest last time, and then when we went on the internet and searched something, the internet was being glitchy that day though. We searched something and then it just stopped recording, but we caught it on time and hit record before it did, and he just stitched the videos together. So you
Well,
never know that.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
So
I feel it, guys.
let's go on this. So
Okay,
Illmind
so
Fire.
an interesting thing too is I'm gonna have you search up another video by Hobson that he made, because after he made he made like a couple more songs
He did
after
all-
this,
mhm.
but then he just like disappeared.
Yeah, he went to
Like-
Africa.
For, like,
yeah,
10
he
years.
he was trying to find
He was
himself.
trying to find
And then
himself.
He was forced away.
Oh yeah.
And
Well, it's
he
like-
made a video explaining a
Yeah, like the company took his all his name and all that stuff like that, all his money.
No, they told him that basically they had a problem with the
The message.
the message
that
he was pushing.
sending.
They said that,
Wow.
yo, this is not the message that we want to push for society because we're trying to cultivate society in a certain way.
Yeah.
We can't have this kind of. You need to go.
That's
And
facts.
that's what happened.
That's
Is
facts.
that would
Look
you
at
say
what they did with
Dave
Chappelle?
Chappelle? That's what I was about to say.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that was the same thing. Dave
And
Chappelle.
When you listen to what he says in this song, you understand.
Yeah,
completely
this is
why they
oh
wanted him
dude,
out.
this was my favorite in the
Bro, this
Illmind
is-
series
Bro.
because he like starts talking about
Yeah.
like he made references to like the skate culture, hip hop, Lil Wayne. He was calling out a whole bunch of people. Calling out a whole bunch
My
of
man
people.
goes in on this.
All right, so let's continue on.
Dios mío.
So, the context of what we're speaking on was, like, how can, like, because the idea was, you know, a lot of this evil was taking place. Jeff asked what the end goal was. And the idea was to kind of set up this utopian for the return of the Antichrist.
Yes.
You know? And I responded with, okay, how can they truly believe in something when there is a being such as God that exists out there, who's omnipotent, omniscient, all-powerful? And we got into the discussion of, you know, he's so powerful. Like, he sent his own self in human form
To understand our pain.
to understand our pain, to
Yeah.
understand the human condition, you know. And like you said, we spat in his face. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, even in that, it's like, I always feel that no matter how we interpret our lives, at the end of the day, he knows what's written. You see what I'm saying? So use Jesus as an example of how to live the best human life possible. You see what I'm saying? In
Or the
terms
Ten
of,
Commandments.
yeah, well, that should be common knowledge. Like, why am I just gonna kill and steal? You know what I'm saying? That goes against everything humanity was built on.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't follow that, there's no civilization.
That's true.
Yeah.
There really
Fall
isn't.
apart.
True.
Like, at the base root of it, we low-key follow the Ten Commandments. That's why we have a civilization.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
That's
you're
the
right.
reason they exist.
That's the reason why that, like, there are basic laws of humanity
that you just kind of have to follow.
that you kind of have to follow. And sorry, those are the Ten Commandments. You know what I'm saying? Makes a lot of sense, you know. But it's like to discredit Christianity or any of ancient text or religion, where it's like they all come from one single source of understanding, where it's like, come on, man. Like, we didn't all just think of this, and this can all go back to the whole Babylon.
Another
You know what
thing
I'm saying?
too is when it comes to the Bible, there is every single verse in that book has been countlessly analyzed, meticulously, what do you call it? Notes have been taken on it, whole essays and everything of people's thoughts, people's interpretations. Like, dude, over thousands of years
You've
of
seen
this
it.
material.
Yeah.
Like, we have so much material about this book to just completely just
Yeah.
away with it
Away
and
with
act like it's just archaic. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Our whole
Yeah.
history, this book had importance and meaning. Regardless if you believed it or not, it was
It's based
very
in
full.
It's
yeah.
based off of something that
It's
happened.
based in reality. Like, these are actual places. There's actual evidence. Like,
there's actual historical evidence
Historical
of
yeah.
the man Jesus living. Now, whether he was God or whether he was not is up for debate.
right.
But the historical evidence of a man named Jesus Christ who lived during the Roman period and totally changed everything, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts.
Moses,
That's facts.
he's written on the Egyptian pyramids. Israel is also on the pyramids.
Would you say, like, in terms of, like, the history or the fate of humanity, past and future,
Okay.
would you say Earth is essentially our garden and we have yet to understand our true purpose for him to allow us to leave?
Yeah. And I
Okay.
think that's why we're here. I
Okay.
think the reason why we're here on this earth is to learn that purpose.
Right. And I would feel like, because we tend to equate the cosmos to the heavens,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that is our paradise.
Mhm.
To expand beyond the
Cosmos, yeah.
with the knowledge we have learned from
From here.
here. Wow.
I think when it comes to Earth, it's just a giant test.
It's a giant test.
I think, and that's what I also sympathize with people when they talk about the simulation theory, because it's like, yeah, it's what this is. This is a simulation to see. This is what I think life is God sets up you to go through certain situations in life because he wants to see what are you going to do. when shit hits the fan, how do you really act?
Right.
Because a countless continuous theme throughout the Bible that's interesting about God is he makes a very big distinction on how he looks at people and how other people look at people.
Mm-hmm.
Other people focus on the outside appearance.
Right.
We can be easily manipulated and swayed.
Yep.
But God looks at the heart. God understands your true intentions because he sets up things in your life to see how you're going to act. Obviously, he can read through your mind and shit.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason why he does these things. There's a reason why you go through certain things in life.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's meaning behind it.
Trials and
It's
tribulations.
Not, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a continuous refining process. That's why when you also go through, like, if you go through something, like, if you ever, you guys have been through those moments where you go through something just fucking rough.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It might last for 6 months, a couple of
Mhm.
years, but then once you get past it, a couple of years, go back, and you look back at that, and you're like, damn, if I had the chance to not have that in my life, I wouldn't do it.
I feel that.
Because
Yeah.
I learned so much.
You
from
learn
that.
so
I gained so much from
dude.
that.
That's why I love anything that comes. Like for me, I never get discouraged. Like of course I have my brother as support, but it's just like I never get discouraged because I always see it as an opportunity.
Yeah, always.
To like just learn, and I know I'm gonna be a better person for that at the end of the day, and then I can pass on that knowledge and that experience to those who are in that road.
There's hope.
You know what I'm saying? And there's hope in that.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a big hope, love. That's those are the things you can't count.
Humanity.
Those are things that, and that's why it's like, that's why I appreciate, you know, the idea that love was bestowed upon us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because nothing can simulate it. It's incalculable.
You have to experience
You
it
have to experience
emulate it.
You need consciousness.
And
You know what I'm saying?
dude, that's what's, and I think that, because I know as a Christian myself, I've really dropped the ball on this with so many people in my life, and I really understand more and more as I grow older, like why, especially Jesus focused so much on love.
Love.
So
I'm
much
telling
on.
you.
If there was anything he really focused on, it was 4 things. Definitely hell was one of them, but the other 3 things was forgiveness and mercy and love. And what's crazy about like forgiveness and love is true forgiveness can completely change somebody's life.
That's
Like,
facts. That's facts.
you could be, how do I give an example of this? Let's say you're a addict, right?
Mm-hmm.
You burned every bridge in your life. Every single bridge. You got one person left, and you really fucked it up with them. And in your mind, you're out in the streets. But by the grace of them, they decide, look, I know you fucked up. Nobody's going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you one more chance. Like, that right there can be the motivating factor that completely changes their mindset and be like, holy shit. Because they gave me such an act of love and kindness, and now I have to spread that with other people.
Yes, exactly.
And so
Pass
many,
it on.
so many people live through life without having that experience of love. They don't even know what it means. When you say love to them, they think it's just, a lot of people think it's just sexual.
Physical. Yeah.
It's just physical. It's just
Yeah.
lust. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, dude, like
They don't
love
understand that.
is so much more. And it's sad that so many of those people haven't experienced it. But I think it's our job as those who have experienced love to show that and demonstrate it as much as we can to others. Even if they're being a piece of shit, because we have to take a step back and realize, have they ever experienced love?
Love.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Do they even know what it is?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do they really understand, like, that they're truly being, like, this much of an asshole?
Right. How much hurt have
Well,
they?
love is
know?
also transactional too, because now it's like nowadays, if a parent wants a child to leave them alone, what they'll do is buy them things.
Well, that's not love.
but
true
that's what they equate
Yeah,
to.
that true love.
So they're like,
You
"Oh,
see what I'm
mom, you
saying?
don't love me. You would have bought me that new phone if you loved me." So
Like, for
they
me-
equate. It's a transaction.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
and
me,
that's not what it is.
Yeah.
true love, the way I interpret it, is just like understanding that there are things, there are decisions that exist outside of the life that I'm living that can affect a person, and things that influence them and how they think, and looking past that and still seeing at the base of it all that is a human being that deserves love. You see what I'm saying? And then
They have intrinsic value.
they have intrinsic value.
Mm-hmm.
You don't earn love.
Yeah.
You don't earn love. You give love, and those who are willing to receive it can understand that and pass that on and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you reject it, I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to think of less of you. I still love you the way I love humanity.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I love every aspect of humanity, in even the worst parts, because it teaches me how not to be.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because, like, if bad never existed,
You wouldn't know what good is.
I wouldn't know what good is.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Agree.
And that can teach me how to love, in that aspect as well. So it's just like, for me, that when I tell people, like, I just love everything. Like, I truly mean it. People think I'm crazy when I say I love everything, because everything is a new experience for me. I
Yeah.
could meet a complete asshole, and it's just like, why? What is missing? What happened? You know what I'm saying?
Why are you the way you
Why
are?
are you? What events led you
To be
to
who
be
you are
this
today.
person?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that you can say, do, and act on these things? You know what I'm saying? And it just builds that deeper understanding that, you know, yes, I've gone through shit too, but, you know, it's like I always say, we might be experiencing the same moment, but it's different.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You could completely hate this. I'm not saying you do, but like you completely hate this, but like, you know, I understand that not everyone is gonna be open just like me, and just you know, like, I understand there are differences in life and in society. You know what I'm saying? And things that I will accept you, but I will not emulate it. So like, you could be XYZ, you could have done A, B, C, and D. Me, I still know it's wrong. I wouldn't act upon it, but I'll still treat you with the same amount of dignity, respect, kindness, love, like I would with anybody else, regardless of what you have done. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't change my perspective of who you are. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we're both humans. We still got to live this life.
Yep.
We're living. We're living.
We all in the same ship.
We in the
Yeah,
same
we're in the
ship,
same-
In
bro.
the same boat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We in the same boat, whether it's sinking or not. You know what I'm
We in
saying?
it together.
We in it together.
It's
You
all
know,
up
so
to
it's
you how we
like,
get there.
so
We either work
at the
together
end of
and
the
make
day,
it at the end.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm gonna do as much as I can to make that experience suck less.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that is my goal, to, you know, not just to fulfill myself, you know what I'm saying, but just to be like, there's more to this.
Yeah.
It's always more to this. It's more than to,
It's bigger than
it's
this.
bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? And I just wish everyone could see that. But it's hard. It's hard, especially when there's distractions, when, you know, there's so many things. You know, you wake up and you have an issue to deal with now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if everyone shared that kind of love, you wouldn't have those issues. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and that's the paradox in it all. You know what I'm saying? Because there can't be true peace.
No, because then
You know what I'm
chaos
saying?
comes from it.
Like, just the reality we're based in. There's just,
I truly think you can have peace. I think God can bring people peace.
but does that interfere with free will?
I think God interferes with humanity's free will all the time. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Like, one verse is I'll bring up one verse.
So we shouldn't hold free will to this,
Yeah, I can do whatever. I
like,
want.
holy, you know, like, this blessing bestowed upon us, like free will.
Because everybody can interpret free will differently.
Right.
That's the only
Right.
thing.
One of the verses, this is one of the most interesting verses I've ever read. So this was King Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of Babylon. So this was back when Babylon was basically like America, like the empire.
The empire.
Right?
Babylon. Where King Nebuchadnezzar.
Where they can do anything they want.
The first great
No one will stop them.
Okay, so this story is kind of wild because basically what happens is Nebuchadnezzar gets all puffed up and he's like, I'm basically God. I can do whatever I want. live however I want, do like however I please. God shows up.
Scroll down, Jeff.
God says, you got a year to basically fix it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back in a year, and if it's not fixed up, I'm going to basically turn you into a beast. You're going to live in the wilderness for 7 years, and then you're going to come back. That's exactly what happened because he didn't learn his lesson.
He
And then
he didn't fix it, yeah.
when he finally got his common sense back, okay, but at the end of that period, Nebuchadnezzar. So this man is at the top of the top.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is above him, like people-wise.
The zenith, the apex.
You know what I mean? So he goes, I raised my eyes toward heaven, and my reason returned to me. Blessed the Most High, praise and honor who lives forever. For his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, but he does according to his will in the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and no one can ward off his hand or say to him, what have you done?
I feel that.
So I think the free will because I think I brought these verses up to you guys another time, and if I did, please let me know so I'm not
For sure.
Yeah.
regurgitating the same points. But there's another verse in, I believe it's Matthew chapter 11. Let me try to pull it. Okay. All right. So this is Jesus talking to the Jews. So they were basically, his disciples were asking him questions. They were specifically, okay, I can't remember exactly what he was asking, but this is at verse 25, and this is Jesus talking himself. And he goes, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. You have hidden these things from the wise and intelligent, and have revealed them to infants. Yes, Father, for this way was well-pleasing in your sight. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, nor does anyone know the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wills to reveal him. So, this verse is very interesting to me, because at least in the Bible, what is the way to salvation?
Through Jesus.
Through Jesus. Now, what did that verse just say? It basically said that Jesus was saying that, in a different verse he says, I am the way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. But in this verse he's saying that no one knows the Father but me, and no one knows the Son but the Father, and anyone who I choose to reveal myself to.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
You guys see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
So, for the longest time, I used to believe when it came to salvation in the Bible, I used to think that it was completely your free will and your choice.
Right.
But as I grow older and as I read the text more and more, it doesn't seem like that. It seems like God just chooses.
Wow.
Because also, if we go to Romans 9,
he just chooses.
Yep. Remember?
Yeah.
Had that conversation with Mom,
Yeah.
and she even agreed.
Yeah. Because look, Samsung. Look.
Because he chooses who goes and who doesn't.
Right.
So.
Alright, so Romans 9, this is probably the biggest, this is like almost the whole chapter. So this is Paul talking. Do you guys know who Paul is? Okay, so Paul pretty much wrote majority of the New Testament. Majority of the books in the New Testament were written by Paul.
Okay.
Paul was the guy who was tasked with spreading the gospel to the Gentiles.
Okay.
Now, you guys know the Gentiles are, right? Anybody who's not a Jew.
Yeah.
So the disciples were tasked to spreading the gospel to the Jewish people, and Paul was tasked with spreading the gospel worldwide. So while he's doing this, he's in Rome right now, and he's talking to the people of Rome. Well, he's talking to the Jews who were at Rome, because they were going back and forth with Paul. And they get to the discussion of free will. And it's really interesting what Paul says. So Paul goes, hold on. Okay, so I'll just start. So this is going to be kind of long, but I'll just start from right here. But it is not as though the word of God has failed, for there For they are not all Israel who are descended from Israel, nor are they all children, because they are Abraham's descendants. But through Isaac your descendants will be named. That is, it is not the children of the flesh who are the children of God, but the children of the promise are regarded as descendants. For this is the word of promise, at this time I will come, and Sarah will have a son. And not only this, but there was Rebekah also, and she had conceived twins by one man, our father Isaac. For though the twins were not, this is Jacob and Esau. For though the twins were not yet born and had not done anything good or bad, so that God's purpose according to his choice would stand, not because of works, but because of him who calls, it was said to her, the older will serve the younger. Just as it is written, Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. What shall we say then? There is no justice with God, is there? May it never be. For he says to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion. So then it does not depend on the man who wills or the man who runs, but on God who has mercy. For the scripture says to Pharaoh, for this very purpose I raised you up, to demonstrate my power in you, and that my name might be proclaimed throughout the whole earth. So then he has mercy on whom he desires, and he hardens whom he desires. He will say to me then, why does he still find fault? For who resists his will? On the contrary, who are you, O man, who answers back to God? The thing molded will not say to the molder, why did you make me like this? Will it? Or does the potter not have a right over the clay, to make from the same lump one vessel for honorable use, and another for common use? What if God, although willing to demonstrate his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much patience vessels of wrath prepared for destruction, and he did so to make known the riches of his glory upon vessels of mercy, which he prepared beforehand for glory, even us whom he has also called, not from among the Jews, but also from among Gentiles. He says, I will call those who are not my people, and her who was not beloved, beloved. And it shall be in that place where it was said to them, you are not my people, there they shall be called the sons of the living God. So,
wow.
a lot to unpack with that. So, now, there's a lot to think with those verses.
How would you interpret it for?
Because he chooses. Because I remember there was one where you
read one where you said that he chooses who he wants.
The evil, he chooses who to be evil and who to be good.
Good, exactly.
Now, why do you think God does that? Or God might do that, if that is a reality?
To guide humanity.
Balance.
I think it's because it's the only way to genuinely get rid of pride. Think about it. How else would you get rid of pride? Because in that instance, there's nothing you did. The only reason you're alive is because God himself decided to save you.
Yeah.
So you can't boast.
Right.
You can't act like you did anything to get into heaven, because you didn't.
That's true. That's why people say God willing.
Yeah.
God willing.
God willing.
And that's why when it came to the disciples.
So freedom is an illusion.
What's funny is the disciples and Paul, they called themselves slaves, servants of the Most High.
Right.
They looked at them as, they called themselves bond servants to the Lord. So their mindset and Christians' mindset today was completely different, bro. Completely different.
Milestones.
Because the way they looked at it is, holy shit, the only reason I'm alive, the very breath I breathe is solely because of God.
He allows it. He wills it.
So the fear of God was truly in them.
He could just think, like you said, a thought. Just a thought.
Damn, that's amazing.
And that's why, because I remember I used to, when it comes to, there's another verse that's very interesting. It's, I can't remember exactly where in the verse, but Paul was talking, and he says, basically his point was, you can't force Christianity, you can't force the belief of God on other people. He says, one person will come and they'll plant a seed, another person will water it, but at the end of the day, God grows the plant.
Right.
There's nothing you could do to force somebody to believe in God.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, facts.
And I
That's
think
facts.
a lot of Christians get mixed up with that because they get very discouraged and they get very upset when people who they love don't view the world the same way they do. And I think that it's then when they get upset, that pushes the other people away.
Yeah.
Because then they're just like, why are you getting upset with me?
Right. That's
No, I agree.
facts. That's facts. And that's the thing, because it's like, even at the end of the day, it's like, they're still framing their teachings within, this is what I want them. This is what I want them
Yeah.
to
This is
believe.
what I
To
want.
believe.
This is
yeah.
what I want.
Yeah.
Not what he wants.
And that is another thing too when it comes to it's difficult.
It's
man,
that's
because
why I always say
it's-
outside yourself.
Yeah.
It's you
It's
gotta
bigger than
be.
this.
It's outside
It's bigger
yourself.
than this.
It's beyond
It's-
your desires. You want them to. You want them to, instead of just here's the knowledge. Make do with.
What did you say with the preacher and the teaching?
I forgot that the verse, the lyrics.
I remember
goes in.
you were telling me about it. You're saying somebody that gives you the knowledge should teach it, not preach it, or something like that.
Right. I said it on a prior episode, but it left my mind. You put me on the spot. I'll go back. I'll mention it later in the future. But it's just like,
Do you guys think, if that's true, do you think God's bad for doing that?
he's God. We
Well,
will.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Let's just play devil's
Oh,
advocate.
devil.
In your honest opinion, how do you feel about that?
'Cause
If
it's
that-
like-
if that were to be true, how would
If
you
that
feel?
were true, then that's amazing. I have a purpose. I'm
Yeah.
still here.
Because we as humans look for
I'm
a purpose
still
every
here.
single
That's a
day.
good point, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm still here. I'm
reason.
obviously following the plan he has set for me.
He could have died from a rock from
And
a
I'm
window.
doing it right. You know what I'm saying? No matter all the bad decisions I've made, I'm still here.
It's crazy that you say that because let's think about it. So many people. How many times have you seen people go from rock bottom to completely changing their fucking
Mhm.
life?
all the time.
All the time.
They could
Most of the
be
time.
nothing for 30 years,
Right.
and all of a sudden,
Bam.
fucking
It's
couple
my
of
time.
weeks, 6
Yeah.
months,
God
they
willed it.
just-
That was the plan.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like in that time, you know what I'm saying, make do of the experiences that you are being gifted.
Mhm.
Take the
Things are gonna
knowledge.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
We are all experiencing different things because we can share that knowledge, that experience, and
With
make
each other.
and collectively be better.
Of course.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Whether you believe in God or not, that is the existence. That is the reality. Outside of news and media and arts and stuff like that, that is what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
And that's why it's like
It's amazing.
it's amazing. Like, because I think I can still delve into science and observable absolute truth and reality and stuff like that. But at the base of it all, I will never know it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I will
that-
never know it all.
I think that's a good thing.
You
There's
know?
always gonna be something for us to do.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Always
Purpose.
gonna be something for us to do.
Always. As long as he's willing you to live, you're fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it gets,
Whatever direction you go.
whatever direction you go
Yeah.
in life, hitting rock bottom, becoming a millionaire, being at the top of your game, losing it all, you are fulfilling your purpose.
Mhm.
And there's knowledge that he knows that he's willing to offer you from that experience.
It's crazy.
That individual experience that no one else will. That's a gift in itself.
You know what's crazy too is when it comes to like I used to have a big problem. Like when I first was reading through those texts and I first looked through that, I got very angry. I got very upset. I was like, "What do you mean I don't get to make my own decisions? What do you mean I can't just pick whatever I want to do? Like you're just controlling me. You're just putting
Right.
things in my life
Yeah.
to
Free will's an
force me
illusion.
into a certain way."
Yeah.
But then it's like, I look at it, like, as I get older, I kind of take a step back. And I think it's more because I've been talking more to my mother about this, and I'm getting more of a parental perspective.
Mhm.
Word.
And when I was a kid, she would put roadblocks in front of me all the time, and it was to protect me. I'm a kid. I'm an idiot. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'm doing. I think.
I feel it.
But it's like playing. Like I want to play in the road. You're gonna get hit by a car and fucking die.
Yeah.
You don't think about that
Don't
as a
think about
kid,
that,
and
no.
I think that God looks at us the same way. It's like
Yes.
you don't know what you're messing with. You don't understand what you're doing. You don't fully comprehend the things. I have to do certain things in your life to protect you because there's things out there that want you.
I'll move you down this path instead of that
That's
path.
facts.
And without me, they will take you.
Yeah.
Nature of reality is cruel. Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's just my base reality. It's bigger than me.
Speaking of all of this stuff, look up. Did you guys see Sam Smith's Grammy?
No.
Dude, look
What
that
happened with
shit
Sam
up,
Smith
bro.
Grammy?
Fucking A, man. We're about to go into
Is
the
this
gates.
speed?
Watch the
The performance?
Let's just just watch it.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
goodness, bro. It's something.
Oh,
I'll tell you
man.
that.
It did that weird
is
thing again.
something.
Oh, it stopped.
No, it started up again. But it's doing that weird thing again. Alright, so let's...
At least you called it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there you
wild.
go. Wait, get one where it's like, where they're not talking over it, where you actually see it.
This is Vivo.
No,
Oh,
but
no.
it's the one he did on the Grammys.
Oh, okay.
Because he was wearing, he
The
literally
devil?
was dressed as the devil. That ass the devil. Look at him, look at him, look at him.
Yeah, that's
Look at it.
crazy.
Look at him.
That's crazy.
Okay, yeah.
Satanic Grammy.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to watch it.
That's crazy.
But like, dude, when you see the whole like performance, like, bro, there's a girl in a goddamn cage on the show. It's like,
Yeah.
what am I watching?
Yeah.
And then the song, what is the song called? Unholy.
Unholy. Oof.
Wow.
Oof. Couldn't be any more glowy than that. You know what I'm saying?
Not even trying to hide it.
Yeah, at
bro.
that point, right. It's in your face. At that point, it's in your face.
Damn.
You know? It's in your face. And and it's up to the individual.
That's true.
Now there are no systems to guide you. It's up to the individual. Because the systems are partaking in it.
What is the infatuation with a lot of these famous people? Like, this is my thing too. If God doesn't exist, why are a lot of these famous people so infatuated with the devil? Or so infatuated with the symbolism associated with the devil?
They believe it might be freedom.
But if God isn't real, then the devil's not even real.
And the devil's not real.
Can't believe in one and not
Because
the other.
God created the devil. So, why do they push these things so hard? Christians don't, like, yeah, you could say a couple of years ago, it's like, well, yeah, because Christians kind of ruled America.
And you can't really call
You
it.
can't say that anymore because
Right.
Christians they don't have any influence
Right.
in the world today, especially in America. So why continue to push this and make, you know what I mean?
That's a good question.
Why do you have to focus on the devil shit?
Time to do
Why
some
can't you
research.
just do the other stuff and just focus on that? Like, why do you have to push the devil shit? What is the point? If it's not because you're
Right.
trying to mock
That's a good
God,
question.
why are you what's the fucking point?
Do you ever think there's an idea that you can exist outside, like the concept of deities? Like, I don't know how to say it the right way.
Like, can deities exist without God?
Right, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, outside God. Like, but how? You see
But
what I'm
how-
saying?
because if
like,
we-
how? Though?
If we make God, if we try to
Right.
make God as basic as we can, he's a
Right.
being that isn't created, that has no beginning and end, and has the ability to
Right,
create
even
anything.
the base, yeah, even
So
at
just
the base.
that
it's-
has to exist at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just that
You need-
being needs
you
to be
need
real.
an explanation for it, because throwing out God, you're throwing out knowledge. Period.
Yeah.
You're throwing out knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like at some point you're going to want to know why.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Regardless
saying?
if you're looking from a
Why?
regular standpoint or a religious standpoint.
Why is
you're
such
gonna
a
want to know.
powerful question?
Yeah.
Why makes you think, dude?
Why
makes
will?
you fucking
Yeah,
think?
that's what takes you down rabbit holes.
That's what keeps you up at night.
That's what keeps you up at night. That's what motivates you.
Yeah.
Or in the morning.
In
Why
the morning.
Fuck am I waking up?
Why am I waking up? Why am I going to work? Because
Why
I
do I
got
get-
bills. Why do I got bills? Because I got a house. Why do I got a house? Because I need a home. Why do you need a home?
You
You see what I'm saying?
It's the rabbit hole. Yeah,
Like,
I
so-
agree. Yeah.
I think that's the fallacy in that question I just asked. I think I answered my own question. But it's just like, I can't, like, there has to be, I don't know, but like, there just has to be
No, I understand.
It's gotta be something.
something.
Gotta be something. There's gotta be some type
Something.
of...
Because it'll eventually lead to the question, why do we exist?
Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, was that the first question? Yeah, that was the first
Yeah.
question. God, why? Why can I leave the garden? Why can I not eat this apple? Why do I have to work? Why do you love him? Why have you forsaken me?
Yeah.
You know?
There's just so many...
You know?
I don't know, man. The world is just
It's
strange.
strange, bro. This is better than any movie,
We're in a
man.
clown world.
That was...
Like-
dude.
It's better than...
It's better... Like, I used to... Because, dude, your boy loves anime. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
I feel you,
So,
man.
I would... Like, there's so many times where I would be like, dude, I wish
I could
reality
live
was
in
just
this.
Because this shit, like, dude, shit's going down. It's exciting. But then, like, as I get older, I'm like, dude,
You get
that
based.
shit is a fucking joke compared to this shit.
Yo.
Yeah, so you're like, I want to stay
it's
here
milk.
and see what
It's
happens.
Milk
just, bro,
toast,
stuff's
bro.
happening every week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
World
Like,
War III's on the cusp. Like,
if you really want to, like, you could shut it all out. But my goodness, you realize, wow, this is real life.
Yep.
like God, demons, mythical creatures,
Creature-
fucking time.
It is
time tra-
amazing.
Like, there's so much shit.
It's
just
amazing.
what's real, what's not real. So
It's
many of what we
amazing.
believed was real and what was not real has just been blown up in our face
Right.
recently these past couple
Right.
of years. And now it's just like anything's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything. Look at the things we're doing. Like, we've deduced life to proteins.
Yeah,
Proteins.
yeah.
That magically, once they reach a threshold, consciousness.
How does that make? And
Why?
we don't even understand
Why?
We don't even
consciousness.
get it.
We
Oh,
don't even
but
get it.
but energy though, okay.
Where'd it come from?
Where'd it come from?
Because
You see what
energy
I'm saying?
can't be. That was my other thing too, man. If energy can't be
Created
created,
or destroyed.
Just transform.
Just-
how does it just appear?
It just it's one interpretation.
Unless it's a being who can draw from himself and give life. How else
That's
would
what I'm
it
saying. It has to come from a source of pure energy.
be? Yeah,
It has to come from a source of pure infinite energy. You see what I'm saying?
and that would make sense why God can't die because he's pure energy.
It's pure energy.
Why he can't exist like. Not
It's a
have
spectrum
beginning
of energy. We are just one spectrum of the culmination of that energy.
of that energy.
You see what I'm saying? It just works the way
And
it
maybe
does.
that's what it means when it says that we have the likeness of him. And maybe that's where the emotions and things like that like come into
Come into
play.
play.
Because we have that bit of energy from him.
From him. It's a spectrum.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like no one can tell you who's the first person. Like, well, you can read the first person to feel anger.
Mhm.
You know, first person to kill.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like
Cain and Abel.
where it just
Where did it come from?
that manifestation. You know what I'm saying? That emergence.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like it's just an energy. We are a vessel in which energy, you know, like translates into emotions, actions, thoughts, feelings, you know, like everything, you know. So it's just like I don't know, man. Like when I think about like when I really get into like deep thought like that,
Dirty
yeah.
thoughts.
I be getting deep thought like that. It's just like, man, dude. That's why for me, it's just like I can't waste time being angry. I can't waste time.
Too much energy.
You
That's why I
know,
always tell people. You
setting myself back.
Mhm.
You know, I always want to.
We
feel
only
like-
got so much time, bro.
Right.
There's only so much
There's
time, and
only
we don't
so
know
much
how long we
time.
got.
And there's so much
Right.
to do. Yeah.
So
Right.
much to do, so little
Especially if
time.
there's a purpose for each of us.
That's facts.
So
That's facts. And that we feel intrinsic time dilation. The more you learn about things, the less time you feel like you have.
Mhm.
You see what
I
I'm saying?
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The less
dude.
time you feel like you have. You see what I'm saying?
Knowledge.
Maybe because you gain more of an understanding of time,
Of time.
and then it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy, man. That's why for me, it's like I tell Jeff, I'm like, Jeff, I know how the world works, but I don't keep track of time. Everything I just set. I have a million alarms and dates on my calendar because I don't keep track of time. Because to me, it's like, what am I racing against? I'm gonna do what I need to do
Yeah.
when it needs to be
When it
done.
needs to be
Yep.
done.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I shackling myself to?
Time.
I want to get yeah.
Time is a prison.
It's a prison.
It tells you when to wake up. It tells you when to eat. It
Right.
tells you when to shower. It tells you when to go to sleep. It tells
Right.
you when to go home.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, so it's like, you know, like this is what happens, bro.
Yeah.
This is what happens
This is the
when,
daily life of Jeff.
bro. Every day. That's why I don't dream. I'm literally dreaming now.
Yeah.
This is
And that's how he creates his art.
consciousness is one big mass hallucination. We are dreaming right now. This is our base reality, but outside of that, it's just what our brain and eyes are interpreting. You see what I'm saying? We could be completely different life forms, but this is just how our eyes
We're
structure.
experiencing the universe
Right.
through the eyes of
This
God.
is how our eyes and our brain interpret light waves.
Yeah. It's,
You know, it's so crazy.
It's making you think again.
You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's why it's like, why am I gonna be mad at Twitter posts or canceling people?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I'm living
too
the
much
best
energy.
existence there is possible.
Too much energy. It's too
Literally,
much.
I'm a culmination of every element in the universe
right.
experiencing itself.
It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
We're all
Mm.
connected, bro.
I don't have time. I need to know more. I want to know more. I want to do more.
Yeah.
I want to.
Holy shit, boys.
What's up?
You know, in a way, we're all connected, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yes, sir.
But like, there's kind of like a feeling deep down that you feel connected with everything, right? Not just like with people, but you
Mhm.
feel connected to nature. Like when you go out by yourself in the woods,
Mhm.
or you go out on the beach and you're by yourself, and like, bro, you just get in that kind of zen moment where you're just like, you're one with the beach. You're one with nature.
With nature.
You know what I mean? And it's like, why do we have that special connection to everything?
Because
And I think it goes back to the one point with God, because all of this energy is just pulled from Him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we all feel connected, because
Connected.
inherently we genuinely are all connected.
yeah,
We are literally experiencing.
right. We could be the culmination of a higher soul
Yes. Just experiencing
experiencing
the world.
Crazy, bro.
different.
Shit hurts my brain.
You know what I'm saying? It's dude. I know, man. Once you get past that threshold of our brain capacity, this just
And you're
like,
still
man.
and you're still young. Wait till you hit his
Yeah,
age.
and that's why I love thinking about, man, I know this now. What am I going to know when I'm 50?
And if you know this
You know
now,
what I'm saying? What am I going to know when I'm 60? What am I going to know at the end of my life? The things that I'm going to experience. The transitional periods in society I've witnessed. The
Dude.
cataclysms.
Who are
the-
you gonna be?
yeah.
That's
At
what
that
I'm
point.
saying. And that's why I always say, man, like, when I'm in my final form, like, man,
What have you accumulated your whole
what
life?
have I
Yeah.
accumulated? Like,
What? Honestly, what do you guys think about this? I think inherently, one of the most important things, like genuinely one of the most important things we as individuals have, and have a job to maintain, is a character.
absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think at the end of the day, that's one of the very few things you can take with you.
Yes.
Because anything physical, gone.
Gone, exactly.
But your character is who you are.
Yep.
You're always going to be who you are.
The effects of that ring true, whether it's directly or indirectly, because your descendants, the actions you've done today will put your
Yeah.
your descendants in a position to create change, whether it's positive or negative.
Or negative, yep.
And it could have been just that one act of, I decided to drink this bottle of water. You know what I'm saying? Because I was choking. I didn't die. You know what I'm saying? It could be so simple. I stopped vaping, so I lived longer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
decided to take a different route this morning, so I made it to work on time. I got a promotion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
You never know.
you never know.
Never
It's
know.
just that everything's just a quantum system, where it's just like it's yes and no. That's why I always tell people, you're never making the right or wrong decision. It just
Because at the end
is.
of the day, you're gonna make it to that same
Exactly.
path.
It
Regardless-
just is because you
Yeah.
are still here. The decision was made. That is the decision.
Like
It's
he
not
always
right.
says,
It's not wrong.
whether
It is
whether
the
you
decision.
whether you go in the creepy woods or you go
Right.
in the rainbow road, you're
Right.
gonna end up in the same position. Whether
You're
go
gonna
the
end up
wrong-
where you needed to be.
Yeah.
Where you needed
And we
to
used
be.
that Disney Channel, That's So Raven, as an example. Regardless if she
No matter how many times she saw the future,
she tried to
She
stop
she
it,
couldn't change it.
It's gonna change it.
she's gonna change it. Exactly. So it's
You
gonna
see what I'm
happen
saying?
regardless. If she
can
did
change it.
something, it's gonna happen regardless
Right.
if she didn't.
Right.
So at the end of the day,
You know what I'm
you'll
saying?
be in.
You know, so it's just like, and now we can even theorize. Like we're looking at quantum systems, and how they translate into the bigger cosmos. And it's like there could be a possibility. There's multiple universes. We don't know, with an infinite being.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know.
And he's just controlling all of them throughout his chessboard.
You see what I'm saying? 9D chess, 25D chess, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to even conceptualize a fourth dimension. You
Yeah.
know? So it's just like,
One thing though, I do gotta say, one of the things that's, no matter how bad the world gets, no matter how much these like elitists and globalists take over and destroy our lives
Word.
each day, day by day,
I feel that.
at the end of the day, for me, I know that at some point, it might not even be in my life. I might get killed before this happens, but at some point, he's gonna come back, and everybody who did wrong is gonna have to answer for exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta, like, that's what I always say.
It's like, it's such a reassuring. It keeps me in line, but it also makes me not want to get vengeance for myself too.
Right.
Because it's like, the way I look at it is, I can't fucking do anything
I can't
to these
do
guys,
nothing.
but
No.
you're God.
Yeah.
You could wipe their whole operation and
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
You can make them so miserable for all eternity. You can make them genuinely relive these horrible experiences and make them learn. So, I know it sounds kind of bad, but at the same, there's that justice in me that needs to be fed.
Justice.
Yeah.
That is the one true justice. That at the end of time, it will be set right. Things will be set right.
Because as bad as people can get, at the end of the day, if people truly do have to, if there's an authority figure above humanity, to me at least, that's a reassuring thing, because no matter how puffed up and how bad a dictator or a group of people get, they can only do so much
Yep.
Right.
until it
Right.
steps in.
And there's even, and it's to the point where it's like, bro, we literally have expiration dates. Like, you can only
Mhm.
be evil for so long. Like, back in the day, it was like,
Yeah.
you were evil for 500 years. You know what I'm saying? You were evil.
Yeah.
Like, my descendants was experiencing
generation.
generational evil. You know what I'm
Generational
saying?
curses.
Generational curses. Like, you see what I'm saying? But it's just like, now, nah.
Actually, speaking of generational curses, this is an interesting thing. I don't think generational curses ever ended.
Oh, no.
And I think the way we see generational curses is like, let's take it to let's take this one family. A lot of them tend to be alcoholics.
Yeah.
A lot of them tend to be suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it with other families, but with this family, they all seem to have a drinking
It's
problem.
genetic, probably.
Is it genetic or is it a curse?
It's a curse. I feel
What is
that.
it? We call it genetics. We gave it a different name.
Yeah,
Is it genetics
that's
or
true.
is it?
That's technically a curse.
We just band-aided it with a nicer terminology.
Nice.
We also did. An example of us band-aiding words is back in World War I. We used to call basically when you would go through so much pain and torture and so much like warfare that your body just couldn't handle it. you would go into shell shock.
Shell shock, yeah.
Or
Now
called
it's
Look
called
up-
PTSD now. Right?
No, it's not even called that. Look up what is the definition for shell shock today. It's this long, construed. Because like when you hear shell shock, that
Record.
sounds like something your computer might have.
Yeah.
Not your computer, but like something your dog might have. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
people who would take their cats to the vet with some shit like that.
For PTSD. Yeah, because it's more instinctual. Like, but it's like, man. It's weird, bro.
Yeah, man.
This shit's weird. It's amazing, but it's
Yeah.
weird. Because it's like, I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's like, oh, man, what's on this episode of humanity? What the heck? That's why it's like, in the beginning, I was like, parody isn't even parody anymore. Satire isn't even satire anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're so, like, once you start understanding the bigger picture, and of course the internet helped, it's
Yep.
like, you can't story tell what's actually happening.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You can't fantasize what's actually happening.
No.
You know? And, hey, that's why, like, every source of media is doing, like, oh, you know, multiverse. Back in the day, the things that were popular were Family Guy, Simpsons, because they made fun of the
Everything.
idea of things that could potentially happen, you
Yeah.
know? But multiverse is everything that did happen, and it all converges into one. And this is what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, it's weird stuff. Weird stuff, brother. And these are the things that help me sleep at night. Because I know tomorrow it's going to be another surprise.
Oh, bullshit.
Every day is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a gift, man. I love it. I love it. I love it,
All
bro.
right, David.
Is that time?
Is that time?
It's that time, man. I knew I was going to have fun.
Holy shit. Alright.
I knew I was going to have fun, brother. See? We've undone the transgression.
It was about what, like
Mhm.
5 to 10 minutes.
5-10
So we
minutes.
just got to cut that part
Yeah.
out and glue it together.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, just put a disclaimer.
Would you like anything? Would you like to let our audience know everything? Plug in your socials or anything
sure,
like that,
brother.
David?
Definitely check out my YouTube channel, Illusion. Also, we do have a TikTok, Illusion, as well. Check those out.
Awesome.
We have a Patreon as well, too. So if you
Oh,
want to
cool
support
beans.
our work,
Yes, sir.
definitely check that out. We do have the final. We're working right now on the final Freemason doc.
Freemason.
I'm waiting
Part
for that one.
3,
So,
waiting for that
baby.
one.
that one's gonna be.
Part 3.
That one's gonna be quite. There's a lot packed into that one. If you guys have followed the first 2 episodes, you're gonna really like this one.
Okay,
fire.
for sure.
It's
Yes,
gonna be
sir.
a perfect wrapping to kind
Off
of
the
whole
The
thing.
conclusion.
it's a good conclusion for the whole thing.
Mhm.
So right now, the script and everything's done. I'm just waiting on my editor Rajat to do his magic. And
Shouts out, Rashad.
shouts
Shout
out
out
to
to you,
Rajat.
Rajat.
My
Doing,
man
doing
works,
good work, brother.
does
Doing good work.
exceptional work, and he's a good man on top of that.
For
So,
sure.
That's what's up. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, David. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. for
Always,
coming,
and of
brother.
course you're gonna
Always-
be
Always
back.
a good time, my man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Always a good time. I was looking
Yeah,
forward
I
to
look
this.
forward to this
Yeah.
shit.
I was looking forward to
Hopefully we
this.
got the new setup ready for you before you come back again. If
Ah,
not,
That's facts.
yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be fire.
yeah.
That's gonna be fire.
If not, then we'll still invite you back in.
Absolutely. Bro, we could. This room could be torn down. We'll record on the floor, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
On some paint buckets, bro.
Get some pillows on top of that.
Oh man, that's fire.
Oh man.
That's fire. All right, brother.
All right, guys.
Take us home.
Thank you guys for joining us at the tabletop. If you want to look at our episodes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And if you want to watch our ugly mugs on Wednesdays and Fridays, we're on YouTube, One Word Tabletop Topics. We also have our Triple T's Clips channel and our TikTok channel. So if you enjoy what you see, click on the link. It'll take you to the full episodes. And of course, we have timestamps, so that can help you guys navigate through our videos. And if you have any suggestions on what you want us to talk about, just let us know. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget to check out our buddy David's channel, Illusions.
Illusions.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, check it out. He has some great
Yes,
content
sir.
on there. But guys, thank you for joining us at the table talk.
He actually just recently dropped a video on the Crypto Bros.
The Crypto Bros, yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yo, that
That's
was wild. Because I did peep that when it first dropped. But, man, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will.
Absolutely.
How many? You're doing 3 parts to that one, or?
No, that one was just because the Freemason. So I'm working on 2 series right now.
Mhm.
I was trying to finish up the Freemason series, but I was also working on the Hunter Biden laptop series. So I wanted to take more time into making. I wanted to take more time in the videos.
I got you.
But I also didn't want to keep people waiting so long for something.
Gotcha.
So the crypto video was just a video that I could make pretty quickly and kind of put out there, just a little bit of conspiracy.
But it
thing.
is shedding a little spotlight.
Yeah.
I
it
shedded
is.
spotlight,
Yeah,
and
for
mainly it was just to point people into, hey, like, this is happening. These are some of the sources.
Mhm.
If you want to dig into this,
I
like
like that.
this is where you go. So just to give me a little bit more time to really make the other 2 series as in depth as I want to make
Yes,
them.
sir.
Okay.
Ski.
All right.
That's fire.
That's awesome.
Looking forward to that, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Got my notification bell on.
There you
so
go.
When that drop.
Well, you guys have a good night, weekend, evening, and or day.
Thank you.
Thank you.